father was physically hitting my mother. He had a knife in his hands and he was pointing at her. I got so scared. I thought today he's going to kill my mother. And a neighbor, an old man, touched me inappropriately. It just felt that something's wrong with that touch. And that day, I froze. I was a person who would flinch at the drop of a hat. I was so scared, terrified. I was a person who was shy, docile, submissive. But that's not who I am. Today, I am someone else. Hello, everyone, again. I am Dr. Reshma, a life and leadership coach, an entrepreneur, a socialpreneur, and an author. I came from a very affluent family. Both my parents came from lovely families, very affluent, very powerful, politically and socially and financially. It was a love marriage, a marriage of two states at that point of time. Love was in the air, everything was beautiful. But later, things changed. I remember some great moments that I had with my family. I felt so pampered, a lot of attention was given to me. I was celebrated every year on my birthdays, and I just can't forget them till now. But later, things changed. Things changed suddenly. The love vanished from my family because my parents were just seen arguing, fighting, and that took an ugly mode. There was physical violence. And I remember being so scared. The screams, the shouts became my lullaby. I was so scared of the sounds, of the voices, of a door slamming, that fear creeped in slowly and poisonously. I still remember that dark night, which changed my life, my belief systems, my mindset. I was just 7. My younger sister was 2 years old. We were sleeping, carefree at home. And suddenly I hear shouts and screams. My mom shouting for help, and my father screaming on top of his lungs. I got scared. My sister started crying. She woke up and started crying. I didn't know what to do, where to go, whom to help. That was the most terrible night. I felt so helpless. That night, I saw when I went to open the door and saw my father was physically hitting my mother. He had a knife in his hands and he was pointing at her. I got so scared. I thought today he's going to kill my mother. I didn't want my sister to see that. Somehow, even at that tender age, I knew I had to protect her from it. I just went back to the bed and just held her tight. That night changed things for me. From that dreamy girl I was, that girl who felt everything is so beautiful, lovely, life is just full of love, laughter, and happiness, changed. Suddenly, life became lifeless. Life became a pain. Life became nothing but tears for me that day. And that day is etched in my memory. I can never ever forget. My mother scared, me scared, My sister scared, and my dad trying to physically abuse her and trying to kill her. That was the most traumatic night I have ever experienced. And that traumatic night gave me trauma for life. For a child at that age, I don't think that is what anybody would want. But somehow, life gave that to me. I became very, very mature. I started feeling I had to take care of my younger sibling. I had to be there for my mother because she was suffering. I loved my father, but I did not like what was happening there. The physical abuse that was happening with my mother broke my heart, shattered me completely. As, as that child, I didn't know what to do. I kept thinking, what can I do to change the situation? But unfortunately, I couldn't do anything. My mother was struggling and wanted a divorce. I moved on with my mom. My mom stood like a rock. She is and will always be my Himalaya. There were times when we had to only do with plain rice. Our dinners were just plain rice. But still, she did not give up. Once I was playing with my friends and we were playing, enjoying, did not bother. We were such young kids, just playing, enjoying ourselves, playing hide and seek. And a neighbor, an old man, touched me inappropriately. At that moment, I did not know what it is, why it was, but something didn't feel right. It just felt that something's wrong with that touch. That is the place he's not supposed to touch me. At that moment, I didn't know the word sexual abuse, but I did not feel right. That touch did not feel right. And that day, I froze. Wanted to scream, wanted to shout, wanted to yell, but I froze. That was my freezing moment. My friends just pulled me out of that place because he was trying to do the same with another girl. We just ran away from there. We cried together because that was not something we were expecting. But I guess that's life. We learn from all these things. And we learned. We learned to keep quiet, to silence our voices because we were scared. Scared, what will our parents say? What will our mother say? Will I be blamed? Will I be told, why did you go there? Instead of someone asking that person, will I be asked? Will I be questioned? But life goes on again, isn't it? And life started moving on for me too. I told my mom I want to do my bachelor's in social work. And the first thing that came to her was, no, that's too far. How will you go? You are so submissive, so docile. How will you manage traveling, coming back and studying? It won't be possible. I said, I want to do it. She said, no, take some other vocation. But I was adamant. I knew that was my purpose and I had to do it. I went on a hunger strike. Yes, I went on a hunger strike for 2 days. I said, I will not eat food until and unless you say yes. I will manage myself. I will take care of myself. And I went. In the end, she had no option but to say yes and support me. And that she did, emotionally, physically, and financially. She agreed. and I got my wings to fly. My bachelor's was a transformational journey for me, and I got on to my healing journey. Started with meditation, started with my healing journey where I start healing myself, venting out, doing catharsis, so that I come out of that guilt, shame, fear of abandonment. Because all those things made me someone I was not, who was scared always of losing people, losing friends, people abandoning me, people not loving me. And that was not me. I didn't want to be that anymore. I didn't want to live in the shadows of fear, shame, and guilt. I wanted to come out of it. It was not an easy journey for me. Because with all that violence I saw as a child, the trauma I went through was not easy. I had to do it continuously, consistently, till I really grew out of it. And I did that. I was able to do that with support from my coaches and mentors. I was able to go through the entire healing process. And once I did that, I felt, why not? There are so many of them. Why not do something for them as well? They are waiting for people to just reach out, to just hear them, let their voice be heard. Because, like me, there are many hiding in those shadows. There are many like me whose wounds are not healed. And every day, those wounds are bleeding. I wanted to do something for them. I wanted to do something for myself so that I create an example for my daughters. So I started an organization that works with women and children, and we've been able to work very closely with women who were abused in marriage and also children. We've been able to rescue more than and protect more than 2,000 children. And this really gave me a sense of satisfaction and purpose throughout my life. I've been doing talks on child sexual abuse in schools, colleges, so that everybody knows about it, is aware, and understands that at that point, the child needs support. You have to identify those signs that can tell you that the child is the victim. So I go to schools and colleges and talk about it as well. Apart from that, I have also started this company called The Catalyst, which is also a training coaching company which gives platform to people who want to come and change their life, create their own reality instead of being stuck in the reality of the past. So that's what I am doing. I've been able to work with more than 2,000 people and have been able to make that change. I have also authored a book. I have authored a book, Evolution, Way to Rise. That's a self-help book for people who love reading. And that book delves in different facets of life where you are healing, learning, and transforming. I would like to tell all the people listening to me today, if I could do that, I'm sure you too can. You can rise like a phoenix and make that change. Be the catalyst of your own life. I would like to thank Josh Talks for really giving me this platform so that I can reach out to more and more people and they can reach out for support. So please, thank you so much. Thank you, Josh Talks, and thank you everybody for staying tuned and listening to me.